Hey, alright, so got this little sound pulled up here. Sort of like a pretty standard melodic techno style sound. This preset will be included. But yeah, let's talk about making these melodies. So I'm gonna go to 125 BPM. And the main thing with these melodies is a minor scale. If you don't know what a minor scale is, it's literally just walking up the scale of notes in whichever key in the minor form of that. So it looks kind of like this. These are all notes. This is F minor. And see how it has that kind of like darker, a little bit more sophisticated sort of sound? You may have heard a lot of these similar kind of voices in these Afterlife style tracks. So this is the scale you want to use. It doesn't have to just be F minor. I'll even save this over here as minor scale. But yeah, this is the scale you want to use. You can put this in any key. And then, yeah, it's honestly pretty simple. It's really just taking this scale, these different like voices, and then just getting kind of creative with them. So I'll delete this and just make something here. Let's do something in F minor again. So we're going to start with F, and then I'll go to the next note will be C, the fifth. The fifth is 7 notes up from the root note. And then we'll go to the ninth, which is just 2 notes up from the root note. And then we'll go up to the third, which is just 1 note up from that. And already you can see we're starting to get something. But yeah, and then maybe we could add in another note here. We could go up to this note, which is just 5 notes up from the root. And then we'll throw in another C. And then maybe we'll change this C to a C sharp. So there's something really simple, and again, it's just following this scale that I showed you, just going the root note up like that. It's really not that complicated. And then we're just getting kind of creative with it. So I'll save that one over here. That'll be kind of like a nice little ARP idea. Let's make another one. So again, let's do this one in F minor again. So we'll go F. Then we'll go to that C sharp again. That's kind of cool. Maybe we could do. So there's another idea, and again, you can see I was just following the minor scale here. So I just started with F, and then I added in that C sharp and the C. This is a pretty important little like voicing here, like this one note up from the fifth, essentially. Like it could be any key, but you can hear when you bounce back and forth between that, like that. Yeah, it just gives you that kind of like melancholic feeling. It's not a hard scale to work in. I'm just gonna put it back up to F minor there, but it's not like hard to write these melodies. It's just what it is it's the combination of not just like understanding like, okay, this is the minor scale. I can do these notes in this scale and it's gonna have this feeling, but it's also like understanding what like where that's gonna take the track, right? Like when you add these two notes, for example. Notice how I described it as melancholic. It's like it's gonna give the track a certain feeling when you hear those two voices together, and that's how you want to think about it. It's applying honestly very simple knowledge of the scale, and then just like really understanding how that's gonna make the track feel. And just the overall like feeling, that's what's really important. I think is just to keep in mind it's not just music theory, but it's also like the feeling, and the music theory serves the feeling. I think too often people want the feeling to serve the music theory, but it's the opposite way around. The music theory is just exists so that you can know which notes are gonna give you the feeling essentially, and that's how you want to approach it. And then from there, you can see, like, I started with this kind of longer, more drawn-out melody. Then I went and I added this cool rhythm to it. You can see also we got that note again. That's just 5 notes up from the root. And then we've got the ninth there. And then the minor third again. So something you'll notice also here is symmetry. Like, I try to end the lead line with something catchy each time. So with this one, for example, it was these two notes. It was ending on the C and then the C sharp. So that kind of gives it like a hook. And then same thing here. It ends every time on that G sharp. And yeah, so let's write another one. I'm on a roll here. Let's try and make something kind of like... Let's go to a different key this time. I'll do something in... Let's go to A sharp. So we just got A sharp, and then we'll have a C sharp. Same thing I was talking about there. We got the fifth here, and then that one note up from the fifth. So with this melody, you can see like it's also about playing with the octaves because this scale is simple. That's all in one octave. And so yeah, if you're just playing with those notes, it can maybe get a bit boring. But if you bounce it around here, for example, here, these two voices, we're going A sharp up to C sharp. So the root note to the third. If we take that third and put it up an octave, then when you hear that, it kind of grabs your ear a bit more. And like here, for example, this note could have just been that same F that it was before. But by putting that up an octave, it made it a little bit more creative. So yeah, and you can see like if I put all these notes down again, just all in that same scale. So yeah, you'll see like it's about keeping it simple and not just making it so that it's like, too much stuff. Because when you do this, I'll copy this over here. It can be tempting to go like, do a bunch of extra stuff like. That's technically using the scale that we're talking about in this video, but it's like you can't remember any of that. It's just noise. It would be the same as if I just was talking on and on saying like blah, 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 blah. It's like not really that interesting compared to this, which is simple and it's only a few notes. And you can much easier remember the feeling that gave you than this. So definitely keeping it simple is the way. Like, just don't do too much. If you ever have, whenever you have a melody, even this one, like if I was going to write a track around this, I would still be trying to refine it. And maybe like we can make it even more simple. Maybe it just stays on this note here. Just stuff like that. Like, it's about using the scale and just following it. And then keeping it simple and interesting and memorable and using the scale not just as a scale and not just to be, I understand scales, but to really like utilize it to communicate a feeling to people. You need to choose what feeling you're trying to communicate, and then the notes in the scale are going to like kind of tell people where that's going. So yeah, those are the melodies. I'll also show you a little bit about uplifters. I know sometimes like if you're trying to make them, it can be easy to make them kind of boring. Like a standard one would be something like this. Like we just make a long note and then we just get like some white noise and then we bandpass it and just automate the bandpass. And like that works. But obviously it's a bit boring. So in terms of making it a bit more interesting and kind of making a little bit of different stuff, I like to start with this and then just do stuff on top of that. Like I'll put an LFO on the filter, just kind of moving slowly, or moving quickly, I mean to say. So now we're getting something like that. Another thing I like to do is we can take this chorus here, and if I put that on there, and then we'll turn the feedback up a bunch. You can make something pretty cool that way. Maybe we'll put the bandpass down a little. We could add like some reverb on top of that. Maybe automate this erosion to go up toward the end there as well. Just stuff like that. With the effects, with the uplifters and downlifters, because you can technically do the same thing with this and make it a downlifter. And just switch that automation a little bit. Instead have that going down there. Like all the ones you hear in sample packs and all the ones that you hear in tracks, it's just made by using this simple foundation. Again, we're still just starting on the basis of this. Just a really simple, just and then we're just adding stuff on top of that to make it a little bit more interesting. So, yeah, if you're having a hard time with that, I would definitely recommend just doing stuff like that. You know, it's not super complicated. You just have to add a little bit of stuff on top of it to make it a little bit more exciting. So all of this is going to be in the project file I'm about to give you. Yeah, so that is it for this one. Thank you very much. Let me know if you have any more questions.